That's Waterfalls by TLC. Their sound was largely shaped by singer Tion Watkins, also known as T-Boz. She grew up in Atlanta and has a new memoir out called A Sick Life. T-Boz joins me on the line from Los Angeles. Good morning, and let's jump right into it. I'd like to start in the same place where you start the book, which is talking about the fact that you have suffered from a form of sickle cell all your life. What changed when you finally figured out what was going wrong?
Well, it's always easier to pinpoint, how to take care of yourself or what to do when you know what you have. But it's kind of hard to figure out, how to make yourself better if you're working in the blind, So I knew I had some form of sickle cell in my life and didn't understand what type. So when I found out what type, then we better understood how to take care of me, and things got a little better.
Well, it just sounds, the way you describe not only the pain, which you describe so vividly, but also just the way you got treated, because you were basically in and out of hospitals your whole life. And then there was one doctor who told you when you were 7 years old that you wouldn't make it to age 30?
Yeah, and I wouldn't have kids, and I'd be disabled my whole life. And I was like, what? Usually doctors don't say that kind of thing in front of children, because good thing I had a strong mother, because that could have ruined my life,
So why did you decide? It was in the late 90s, I think, when you finally revealed that you had a type of sickle cell and went public with it and have since become a spokesperson. Why did you make that decision?
Partially because somebody approached me about it, and then second, I just got tired of all the rumors as well, so it just made sense. I felt like it was bigger than me being afraid of sharing my story or people pitying me or whatever would come of it. I just felt there was a bigger thing that I could do for other people who had it as well.
It's interesting because I wondered exactly how painful it was sometimes for you to perform. And I really appreciate how open you are about some of that. But you also describe it as being two different people, that T-Boz is in many ways a different person from Tion, right?
Correct.
So,
Yep.
So did T-Boz experience the kind of pain that Tion had to suffer?
Oh, absolutely. I'm the same person.
Yeah.
Ultimately. It's just another alter ego of mine, but at the end of the day, I'm always Tion no matter what. I was born that way, and I'm going to die that way, but, T-Boz is just my performance person that, you just basically put on more. It's just a different part of me that I probably wouldn't walk around every day, being like...
But you also say that, you had to sort of discipline yourself to leave that personality on the stage. And you mentioned that not everyone is successful at doing that. Like, what's the risk of taking that performance personality off stage?
That's why I don't like a lot of celebs, because they walk around like they're on stage all day. It's annoying. Like, it's just, like, I know people who don't want to be called by their birth name. They only want to be called by their stage name, or they just act like they're on all the time. And it's just like, if you're behind closed doors and we're real people, like, leave that alone. Like, leave it where it's supposed to be. Like, why are you still on right now? It makes no sense to me. I don't know. They just, brag about money and, all their, superficial worldly items and stuff like that. So to me, it's funny because, like, you never hear John Travolta, who parks a plane in his front yard, like, who has real money, or Eddie Murphy, who's one of my friends. You don't hear people who have real money going around bragging about it. They just are who they are, and they're, content with being them, but they don't have to, like, shout out, oh, I'm rich, I'm this, like, come on, I hate that.
And you describe a number of conflicts you had, and with big personalities, like with an Aretha Franklin, difficult personalities sometimes.
Sometimes, every time I'm at her. Everybody in the industry is like, she's mean. Like, most people think she's mean. I don't care. That's what I've always heard.
Yeah. And it sounds like she was difficult in interaction you had also.
she was, but hey, I took it with a grain of salt. Like, she doesn't hinder my career, so I guess we just won't be cool, and I'll just like her from afar. But it's sad when you look up to somebody as a child and you meet them and they're totally not like how you would wish they were. So you just go on about your business. So.
And I wondered that on the flip side for you, because I mean, TLC is the #1 most successful girl group in history. I think something like 17 Grammy nominations, and you won 4 of them. And I was just watching The Other Guys, that movie with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell the other day, and one of the gags they have in there is that the police chief is always supposedly inadvertently like reciting TLC lyrics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, did you see that? And I was,
Uh-huh.
it happened to be while I was reading your memoir, and I was thinking to myself, what must that be like to be part of, to be so much a part of culture that everyone knows if you say, don't go chasing waterfalls or creep, that.
I know, it's funny, it's surreal, it's weird, like, it's still unbelievable, actually.
Really?
Yeah, really.
How do you deal with it with your kids? I mean, how do you leave the persona behind and then and how do you protect them, I guess?
I just raised my daughter, like, my daughter's older, my son's only 2, so he doesn't understand yet, but
Yeah.
my daughter, I raised her normal, like, I wanted
What does
her to
that
have
mean?
normal,
Yeah.
meaning I don't give her the celeb life, like, I don't care how rich my kid was at 17, my child wouldn't be buying no mansion, because that's not normal.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's not normal parenting. I'm just saying. My 16, 17-year-old is not buying a house even if she could afford it. I don't care. She's 17. Now, it's crazy.
I'm speaking with T-Boz Watkins. She's the lead singer and songwriter for TLC. She grew up in Atlanta. She has a new memoir out called A Sick Life. So let's then talk about your growing up, because you describe it in the book as growing up in Atlanta via Des Moines. You were born in Des Moines. But I wonder what role Atlanta played in the development of you as a musician. How much of an influence was Atlanta on you?
Oh, a lot, because that's where I learned a lot of flavor that I did in TLC when I choreographed some of our dances. So, I just love their swag and the whole vibe there. So I'm so happy I grew up there.
Yeah. Do you come back often?
Yeah, sometimes. My mom goes back and forth.
Yeah. I mean, because Atlanta loves you. The city will always love you.
I just left there like probably 2 weeks ago. I had a women's expo that I spoke at, and before that, me and Chili had a sleepover with the fans like a couple of months ago. So I go back all the time. But I want to move back to the South. That's why I want to raise my son.
Why?
Because people are more grounded. Southern hospitality is not Hollywood. It's too Hollywood out here for me. I never liked L.A. I only came here to work. But this is not a place I want to bring up my kids at all.
So, you're forthcoming in this book about so many things. And the things that made me curious were the times when you weren't. For example, after your marriage to Mac 10, there's a part where you actually write, things got really messy. I think what happened between the two of us should remain behind closed doors. And I'm not going to ask you to reveal that now, but I just wondered how that process went in your mind. Like, how did you decide what you wanted to share and what you wanted to hold back?
I mean, for me, it's not hard about what I want to share. I just know it's not anybody's business. You know what I'm saying?
Including your breakup?
For me, I'm not like, when people do reality shows, I remember when we did one, they were like, we'll just shoot it, but we won't show this. And I said, no, we won't, because I know we won't show it because I'm not shooting it. I don't fall for nothing. Nah. Like, would I look like Boo-Boo the Foo? I was born last night. I mean, at night, but not last night. I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't fall for the okie doke, and I'm not, in no means, telling nothing. I don't need anybody's opinion or like rebuttal about something I did. I was there, so I know what happened. So I don't need everybody's input. And the thing that kills me about today, because, I guess the Kardashians and the reality show, and, they have their whole life followed, whether it's good or bad. Everybody doesn't want to be that. I don't care about my whole life being filmed and you knowing my business, and I don't have to answer to nobody. I signed up to sing and dance. I don't owe you an explanation about my life, period. And I'm not doing it. So you could sit there and interview me like if I'm on TV or something, and you be like, if you ask me a question, I'll just look at you and say it ain't your business. Keep it moving. Like, next question. Because I'm not the one. I don't do that. Because I don't have to answer. Like, why did you, huh? Why did I? Because I wanted to. That's why.
So what do you make about some of the things that are sort of being revealed? And I mean specifically coming out of the entertainment business about the revelations we've had about sexual harassment, sexual assault, the treatment of women. I mean, you were working at a time when some of this stuff was going on in Hollywood. What do you make of it all?
I mean, it happened to me too, but I just didn't take it that serious. And I'm not, I don't, some are deeper than others. I think it shouldn't have took one person to say something for everybody to come out the woodwork. Then you got to weed down the people who really have a complaint and the ones who really are just looking for a check. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy because some people have real legitimate issues, and then there's some people who just want to check and they make up stories, and it's like sad because people really, get raped or whatever, and I think that's horrible for you to, do stuff like that. Like all these stories like, this person met me at the hotel and gave me a disease. Like, all this stuff going around is crazy to me. But, I mean, and you know what's crazy? Because my daughter was sick for about a week, so I had missed out on all the stuff. And then when I pick up the phone, my friends are like, girl, did you hear that such and such that you know is in trouble for sexual harassment and blah, blah, blah? I'm like, wait a minute, what? And then they tell me everybody's coming out, and I'm just like, why is it that when it happened to you, didn't you just come out? Like, why does it take somebody to say something, and you go, oh, okay, even though mine was 30 years ago, I'm gonna say something now? Like, huh? I don't know. Like, I'm all for saying it somewhere. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's the jolt somebody needs to speak up. But if you're really violated and you're not looking for a check, speak up. Especially if the person can't get to you, harm you, make you lose your money or whatever, say something.
So when you were writing some of these lyrics, because the kind of attitude that you're talking about right now, the kind of strength was a lot of times portrayed in your songs. And I wonder how forthcoming you were then in your songs, how much you used your own personal experience when you're writing lyrics. I mean, you tell some of these stories in your book. How much did you use your own experience?
A lot, because Unpretty was totally about me.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know at the time that so many people felt the way I did, But, I mean, a lot of my songs, the ones to me that do the best are the ones that are the most organic, that people can relate to.
Came from your own experience?
Not even mine. Like, I'm a people watcher, and I watch people all the time. And I listen to my friends, and some stuff I would never get myself into, but I don't judge them. But, I'm like, it's a shame that people feel this way. So I wrote Unpretty, but in the day of social media, for this album, I wrote Perfect Girls because it seems like kids are striving to be perfect, and no one's perfect. We all have flaws. We all have insecurities. And I'm not knocking anybody who has plastic surgery, but let's be real. The reason we get it is because we want to alter something and make it better or enhance something we didn't like about ourselves. That's why you do it. So at the end of the day, just keep it real. I didn't like my butt, so I got a bigger one. Or guys like it, so I wanted to be sexy. Or my breasts were small, I wanted bigger ones. Like, just be real. I hate when people lie about stuff like that. The point is you did it because you wanted something to enhance something about yourself. What's wrong with that? But just keep it real, though. Just stop lying. Like, nah, I don't have booty injections. Girl, please, your booty's looking like doo-doo plops every other day with skinny legs. Like, it's like not normal. Nobody's butt is like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like these girls overdo their butts. Like, these doctors ought to be slapped. Like, why would you do her butt that big and her legs are so skinny? It looks crazy. They look out of proportion. Like, at least if you're going to get surgery, do it right. Like, these girls out here looking crazy, and I would not want to look like that. Everybody don't want to be big booty Judy. I already got a big booty anyway, naturally, so I'm good.
So, I mean, obviously TLC was not the same once you lost Lisa. And I wonder, now that you've been doing solo work, you've been doing all kinds of other stuff and staying really, really busy when you probably don't have to. Um, what has kind of opened up for you? What's sort of your favorite project post TLC?
I can tell you my greatest accomplishment is my
Okay.
daughter.
Yeah.
You know, my kids. Raising a human is, like, for me, better than anything I've ever done. But I don't know what my favorite project would be. Well, I take it back. Hold on. I do know. Sort of. Two situations. When Michael asked us to perform on his Heal the World tour and when Prince came and played on stage with us. Those are my two moments that meant so much to me.
That is T-Boz Watkins, lead singer of the group TLC. Her new memoir is called A Sick Life. T-Boz, such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And to close today's show, here is the song Meant to Be. It is featured on TLC's 2013 Greatest Hits album,